Hello, everybody. I'm Andy, coming to you from the United Kingdom.
And I'm Scott, coming to you from Toronto, I think, although it's so smoky outside from our wildfires right now, I can barely recognize everything outside.
Is that a regular thing? I recall it was a case a few years ago. Is it something that happens often?
No, it seems to be a regular occurrence now, but this is not. This is a new regular occurrence. So
Okay.
yes, it's a problem.
Definitely. Well, this is the Tea and Timbits podcast, global perspectives on business development to help you prosper. And I feel rather guilty standing here, beer in hand, and we're having an episode about healthy body, healthy mind, and I think that was the topic anyway.
Healthy body, healthy mind, prosperous work.
Prosperous, lovely. Well, while I figure out what we're actually going to talk about and enjoy my beer, and I shall gladly listen to you telling us a story.
It's going to be a quick one today, but again, sort of thought, little anecdote from my comings and goings that I thought that I would share. And it's just a quick reminder about the importance of appreciation. A lot of times, and I think we've even talked about this and shared similar experiences and stories before, but it always bears repeating and reminding because I need to hear it for myself, especially in the business. No, for sure. Like, I think it applies to all walks of life, but I think we can be particularly guilty about overlooking it at work sometimes. At least I know I can. And when people do a good job, or when they try and maybe fail, it's one thing to just kind of acknowledge that the task has been completed or whatnot, but just to make sure that everybody is recognized as a valuable part of the team. Now, listen, this is again sort of inspired by personal events.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounded like there was a story behind the story here.
Yeah, usually I start with a personal story and then like, and so at work this means this, but I just thought right away, I'm like, I need to do a better job of recognizing. I think the hesitation on the work front is sometimes if you feel like too much recognition or praise, and people start asking for raises and additional recognition and compensation and whatnot. Well, guess what? If that is the truth, and they are deserving of that, and if the business can afford it, then it shouldn't actually require recognition. No, it just makes it a better place to work. Anyway, the inspiration for the story was the weekend that I just had at my son's baseball tournament, and it was a tough slog for this team. We had lots of trials and tribulations, and we were dealing with opponents who were less than classy, shall we say. And you really just had to make sure that the players knew that they had each other's backs in a situation like that. So that made it. That was the coaching from the weekend. I don't know if the players took it in, but when everybody's in the same situation, struggling to get through it, you need to remind each other that you're doing it together. So there you go. Just thought I'd share that little reminder.
Oh, I'm so curious to know the stories about what was going on at that baseball game. The less than gracious
podcast, but I think still perhaps that's a note I'll share off.
We can have an off-air discussion about that one. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, this week we're going to be talking about what was it again? Healthy body, healthy mind, prosperous work. Yes.
That's what we wrote down on the spreadsheet.
Excellent. That's good. What does that mean to you?
I think, and I know that I was about to tell a story, but I don't want to take your story away. So, but I think it's about making sure that there's good balance and a certain ownership, individual ownership and accountability for avoiding burnout. And I think that the healthy body part is just about making sure that you do take care of yourself and you have the physical capacity to show up and be as productive as you want to be. I mean, listen, like we could all be healthier, every one of us, right? But there's a individual decision there. Healthy mind, are you giving yourself the sort of time and space for your own mental recovery to be the right contributor at work? And if you do those things, then one, I think you'll have a little bit more productivity at work, but also you'll have a little bit more of your own resilience to deal with some of the things that perhaps you're just as happy to leave at work when you go home at the day, and not let it sort of spill over and cross over and compound some of the other challenges that we might face either at work or at home.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point because I've always had the perspective of it's important to have fun. And
Mhm.
I've always had the perspective that it's important to have a healthy body and a healthy mind. And very often those two things don't go hand in hand. And, I'm very guilty of, I used to smoke for many years and I smoked a lot. But at the time, I was living an incredibly active lifestyle. And then when my
Right.
lifestyle changed and I was no longer as active, I stopped smoking. Um, I enjoy a good drink. I'm standing here now in the hot office having a beer because it's summer and that's what you do, and that's fine. But everything is about moderation. And it's fine, go out, party, and have a good time. But if you're doing it every day, then maybe you need to reflect on that. If you feel that you don't have the breath and energy to maybe occasionally run up the stairs or to go and play with your kids or to walk through an airport from one side to another, then you need to start reflecting on your life choices a little bit. And I think those things are just basic health to function normally. But I don't think that's separate from having an operational work, because if you're putting shit in your body, then you're going to be getting, a crappy mind, because a lot of the food and drinks and things that are out there, they will mess with you massively in your mind. If you don't have a good balance of nutrition, it's going to mess with you. If you don't try and, have a good sort of healthy, active lifestyle, a little bit of cardio, a little bit of muscle building, you're going to struggle. And the older you get, the more senior you are, and the more type of work that you do, like the work that the people who listen to this podcast do, a lot of it is spent sitting down in cars, on aeroplanes, in offices. It's
Yeah.
not very active. I stand at my desk. I always have done, and I do that deliberately because it keeps me moving and it keeps me active, and it gives me these. And I've got this little mat as well, which keeps me unstable all day. So I have the micro movements rather than just standing on the flat, solid floor. And I think there's small things you can do. I mean, I'm in no way, as you say. I mean, I could definitely be healthier. Definitely be healthier. I've had peaks and troughs in my life as well. I'm not in any way a perfect model of how things should be or how you should live your life. But I try and keep a sensible, healthy balance, and I really do genuinely, personally believe passionately about this thing, and that if you are looking after your body, it will help your mind to be clearer. It will help you to function better, and it will help you to handle those extra stresses when they come, because you are
Yeah.
able to be more calm. And just think about it, right? Just try skipping breakfast one day. I mean, I sometimes don't have breakfast, but if you don't do breakfast, it can end up making you hangry.
Right.
And
Right.
that's an actual thing. You make bad decisions, you act on emotions, your emotional fuse is a lot shorter, and you are not functioning properly.
Right.
And that's the same case if you eat crappy food. So if you're living on McDonald's or fast food or other fast food brands that are available, you are going to feel the impact of that on your body and on your mind, because that food doesn't sustain you.
Right.
And you are going to become hungry again, and you are going to be uncomfortable. You are going to make bad decisions. You are going to not function as well as you would do. And so I think it's really important to have good habits and putting those things in place, for nutrition, for hydration as well. That's the thing. The amount of people who don't even manage to have a glass of water all day. I mean, you're sitting there drinking water, I'm sitting here drinking a beer, but you know, I drink. My colleagues in every place I've worked always think I'm insane because I drink so much water throughout the day.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, that's not good for you. You shouldn't drink so much water." I'm like, "What do you mean it's not good for me?" It's like,
I think
if I need water, I'm going to drink water, you know, and I stay hydrated, and I always have done. So, and it's perfectly fine.
I think quite often we end up in some of these more unfortunate habits and behaviors because it's a heck of a lot less
convenient,
impactful when you're younger.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Weekend baseball tournament. I mean, we're sort of hopping between games and meals with the schedule in mind, not the nutrition quality. You do your training, you do sort of the right things leading up to that, but then to sort of get through the schedule, it's all about just sort of calories, less about quality of calories. You get away with that when you're a lot younger, and so you sort of at some point there's a turning point when it is a lot more important to be a little bit more or a lot more attentive to quality versus quantity. So you've just finished an event, and we talked the other day about clarity breaks, which were a different thing. That was about sort of letting your mind sort of find some thoughts that you create some space to allow for. But following a sort of a milestone event, especially one that required, like if it's a presentation or a big sales meeting or a pitch or something like that, a lot of times we feel like we're not being productive or we're not doing quote unquote the right thing because we're not working. And I think that I find myself having to sort of bring that forward in my mind fairly often. What have you done? Tell me more about that sort of to manage that healthy body, healthy mind as you've now come past that milestone.
Yeah, so I think leading up to it was important as well, was making sure that I didn't become overwhelmed by it, because there are so many factors that and so many moving parts as well in any of these things. You know, you've got many different suppliers, and then you've got, you know, if it's a presentation or an event, you've got all the different speakers, you've got the audience, you've got the tickets, you've got the venue, you've got the logistics, the food and the water and the other beverages and things like that. You've got all of that to think about. You've got to consider the weather, you've got to consider the transport, you've got to consider the logistics of how you're getting things in and out. You've got to consider what's going to happen in terms of queuing, what's going to happen when things go wrong, which they will. They will definitely go wrong. The machines will break, the computers will go down, the internet will stop working, all of those things will go wrong. Think about that in advance. Microphones will stop working, cables will be broken, all of these sort of things will happen, guaranteed. And if they don't, well, you're very lucky. But most of the time, they will happen. So you've got to be one step ahead. And then there'll still be other things that you haven't thought about that will come up, and they will be problems, and there'll be issues, and there'll be individual things, and then all of that. But you've got to try and consider as much of that as possible. But what I try to do is walk through it from a personal experience perspective. You know, if I was going to this event, what would I expect to see? What would I want? What would I enjoy? How would I like that to be? And I started there. Rather than the perspective of, I need to put on an event, how do I arrange that? I've gone, I want to go to this event, and I want it to be the best event that I've been to. What would that event look like? And then I built that event.
Right. And, well, I also know that you sort of scheduled in some personal time after.
100%, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So I planned ahead of time a full day off. Unfortunately 2 days afterwards, because I still had other things that I had to do during that time. But I was prepared for that. So I was mentally prepared for the fact that it, just because the event was over, I didn't get to suddenly switch off. I had to be fully switched on the day after. I had to be fully switched on the day after that. But it's about, okay, well, I've also scheduled in time for going on long walks, time for
Yeah.
movement, time for exercise, time for things like that. And during those times, yes, I'll be on the phone. Yes, I'll maybe be doing other things, but I'm still moving. I'm still active. I'm still trying to maintain that healthy level, and trying to find a right balance, because it is so easy to fall into that trap of going, 12 hours, 14 hours stuck in the office working on something, not even leaving the house or the office or whatever to go and do things, and that's really, really unhealthy. So if you are like me, like you, and we get fully focused on the things that we want to do and want to deliver, make sure that you schedule in that time to give yourself the time as well, that you
Yeah.
block the calendar to have that time to reflect, to relax, or to move.
Well, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit more to the definition of relax there, because I think the other pitfall here is not properly recovering. And
Mm-hmm.
you do all these
Yes.
healthy
Yeah.
mind. So that, what does that mean? Going to the gym, drinking more water, eating properly. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Shut up, you guys. But there is a value to, I heard somebody else call it junk time, like just completely like indulgent, like, yes, close the blinds, turn on Netflix, turn off your phone, do what you can
Exactly. So step out of that world.
to
Step out of your normal
freaking
world. Yeah.
compress.
Turn your brain off. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And don't go play golf. Don't go schedule drinks with the
Mm.
friends. Like, legit frickin' turn the engine off.
Yeah.
And give yourself an honest to goodness complete disconnected break. I think that
Yeah.
the value of that is so easily forgotten or unrealized.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and that's one of the things in my schedule for Tuesday when I have the day off, is to go to the cinema, because
Oh,
in the cinema I can't have my phone on, I can't
yeah.
check my phone, I can't be distracted by it, nothing like that. So I am going to be fully focused on the film that's on the screen. So
Are you going alone?
I am deliberately, yes,
Yeah, yeah. I've never
yeah,
done
during
that.
the middle of the day when no one else is there. It's great.
Yeah, I've never done that.
In the
I
week.
actually think it sounds fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I've not been to the cinema for like 9 months at all, and I used to go regularly,
I couldn't
but
tell you. I think,
yeah.
well, my wife and I had a movie date night a few months ago. That was
Hmm.
first time in a long time. She goes more often than I do, but it is fun times.
One of the other things that I just have to add in here, and it is important, I know it's basic and I know everyone should know it, but one of the best things you can do is just get up half an hour early to whatever you normally do and just go for a quick walk. Go for a quick walk.
Yeah.
If you have a dog, you do it anyway.
Yeah.
Pretend you have a dog. Pretend you have to take it for a walk. It doesn't matter whether it's raining or snowing or freezing cold or sunny or whatever. Go for that walk in the morning. Your day will change massively.
I've heard this one lately from more than one source, like, and particularly lately. So I have it actually sort of in the near the front of the back of my mind to try and act on myself. So I'm glad you just sort of added another endorsement for that.
Another one.
Yeah.
I just want to say sort of a final word, that if you are leading an organization, it's really important to remember that you are the primary asset that people are looking up to, and leading by example is really important. And it's not to say that everyone's going to suddenly follow you and go on a morning walk with you, and they're going to be watching you and and following your hydration and food schedules, but they will be paying attention. They'll go, hang on a second, this guy's got all of this pressure, he's doing all of this stuff, he's still being successful, he's leading us with confidence and with energy, and he looks healthy, and he's got the energy and got the motivation. I'm sorry, but it is true. If you've got a fat lazy manager who's sitting in their office complaining all the time,
Right.
that is not a motivator at all for the staff, and that makes the staff fat and lazy and uninterested. I actually have no problem with people being fat. I don't. I just worry about people's health, and some people are naturally larger than others, but yeah, look after yourself, please, people.
I get the point. Yeah.
God, I could go on for hours about this. It's like a proper rant.
Do you want me to just end recording and you can keep going?
I don't think we need to. I think people have understood that I have a bit of a passion about this side of things. Anyway, thank you very much, Scott. If anyone listening wants to, get lectured at and told to get on with certain things in their life, then please do get in touch with me personally, and I'll be glad to do that. If, however, you wish to develop your business skills and your knowledge of international business development, then please go to tandtimbits.com, where you can find all of our past episodes and many ways to get in touch with us. Thank you very much, Scott, and see you
Thanks,
next
Andy.
week.
Thanks, everybody.